Hi, this is Spaceman Spiff, and welcome to another audio commentary. This is my first audio commentary in my new playlist, Spaceman Learns, which is going to be about me learning Starcraft Brood War, or Starcraft Remastered. So I'm going to take a couple minutes right now to just introduce myself and my understanding of Starcraft, and then from there I'll jump into the game. So if you're not interested in that, I completely understand. Maybe jump ahead a couple minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to jump right into it. So my name is Spaceman Spiff. I play under the name Spaceman Spiff. I should say I'm not actually named Spaceman Spiff, but that is a reference to Calvin and Hobbes. And I got Starcraft Brood War, I think, when I was 8 years old. And I loved the game. I played the campaign through and loved it. I played online a lot, but I never played standard. I never played ladder. I never played anything competitively. I was young, and I really liked the custom games. So Lurker Defense really stands out to me. I loved Lurker Defense, particularly Elemental Lurker Defense, if anyone remembers that one. I played a lot of the Protect the Queen style games. I loved the RPGs. The Dragon Ball Z RPGs were amazing. But I never played competitively or ladder until Warcraft 3 came out, at which time I switched over to Warcraft 3. I loved Warcraft 3. I still play it online today. If you're interested in Warcraft 3, or if you don't know anything about Warcraft 3, check out one of my other playlists. I'm definitely much more knowledgeable about it than I am Starcraft Brood War. But so I'm gonna go back to what I'm actually supposed to be talking about, which is Starcraft. So when Wings of Liberty came out, I played quite a bit of Wings of Liberty. I played quite a bit of Heart of the Swarm. I was ranked Master League through most of my time playing. I was Diamond a couple times, but for the most part, I was definitely in Master League. And these days, I don't have the time for StarCraft anymore, or to play StarCraft 2 anymore. It's just so intense, and your timings need to be so perfect, and your macro needs to be so perfect, and if you're off by 20 seconds, that will cost you the game. And that's amazing, and I love it, and I respect it, but it's too much for me right now. I don't have the time, and I can't compete at the level I used to, so I'm not playing, but I still love the game, and I still love watching, and I don't know much about Brood War, so I'm jumping into it now, and I thought, even though I don't have a great understanding of the game, I don't know the macro, I don't know build orders well, I don't know the meta all that well, I don't know what you're supposed to go against which race, I don't know the maps, but I'm hoping what I do know about RTS games in general through my decades of playing it now, and I still know all the units, I know the tech tree, I know the unit abilities and things like that, so I'm still familiar enough with the game that hopefully I'll have some input that's worth listening to. And either way, it's going to be fun. So that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope that wasn't too much a waste of your time, and now I'm going to actually jump into the replay. So we have a Terran player named Zariche. I'm going to call him Zariche, even though there's no accent. And our blue player is PRP, the Protoss. Alright, so, again, I don't know much about anything, so I'm going to pause it quickly, I'm going to reveal the map, and I'm just going to take a quick look at the map, because I've never seen it before. So it looks like a pretty standard elevated base with an easy natural, nice. The third base looks a little more difficult to hold. And this is only accessible by air, so I guess you got to drop ship in or something. Okay, cool. Oh, and another... Oh, no, that's the natural. So up here, lots of expansion and locations on this map. Wow, okay. This is exciting. I imagine there's going to be a lot of skirmishes in the middle. I've noticed that in StarCraft, I have looked at a couple maps, and I've watched a couple replays already posted by other casters. I've noticed that... the maps have a lot of wide open spaces, which I'm kind of interested in seeing how that plays out. I feel like that will lead to some interesting engagements and some yeah, I guess that sums it up. One more thing I want to point out quickly. I don't know much about the game. I'm not downloading, top class players. I don't want to cast top tier games right now because I don't think really I'd be able to even appreciate it, I love watching them, and it's amazing what they can do, but there are so many casters out there that are already commentating the games of the top players and who really know what they're talking about, and they're very strong players themselves, and it's kind of like, who am I to try and, you know, cast those games? I just want to learn, so I'm watching games. So these might not be the top tier players. This might not even be high tier players. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully there's still a market for this anyway. So here we go. Protoss is building probes. Terran is building SCVs. I believe we'll be seeing a supply depot go down on the ramp to start building a wall. I know that's the meta that was carried into Starcraft 2 from Brood War, so I'm sure that's what's still going on. Protoss player, there's going to be a pylon going down followed by gateway. I know there's a lot to look into with gas timings. I'm not sure what the proper gas timings are in StarCraft, so I'm interested to see how that goes. I also find it very interesting that you only get one geyser in your starting position. In StarCraft 2, there was always 2 geysers, and that was, well, to me that just seems standard. So that's already something I've noted, even in watching other replays, and I think that is something that's definitely indicative of how important gas is in this, even more so than maybe in StarCraft 2. So still standard, still building probes. Let's see, this guy's going out scouting. Oh, a supply depot over here, so he's not walling off. Maybe Terran, or for Terran players, it's not as essential to wall off against a Protoss. I feel like against a Zerg player, it's absolutely necessary for those Zergling run-bys. But maybe this is a big enough map, and Protoss players, you know, I don't think Zealots can run up a ramp quite as effectively as Zerglings can. Again, also, I don't know the meta, so I don't know if you would expect to see many Zealots against a Terran player in the early game, or do you go more for Dragoons immediately? I don't know if it's a bio game for Terran against Protoss, or if it's a mech game. I think something tells me you usually go mech against Protoss, but I'm not even entirely sure of that. So, again, lots to learn. So gas is coming down already before the barracks is even done. So this must be some sort of tech. Maybe air. The first Marine's on the way. We have a gateway, 2 gateways coming up. Also, I don't know, is that early gas timing? I don't think that's that early gas timing, but it seems weird to me that you would get 2 gateways after getting gas without even a cybernetics core on the way, because Zealots only cost minerals, right? So we'll see what's happening there. Both players have scouted each other. We see a factory's coming down already from the Terran, so the Protoss has scouted it. He knows what's going on. Terran's probably a little upset that the probe got in. That Marine should have done a better job. But what are you going to do? And from the factory, I know vultures are amazing units. I also remember being a kid and thinking vultures were terrible. I remember being like, you only get 3 widow mines, or sorry, StarCraft 2. You only get 3 spider mines. That seems like you have a time limit on a unit. And I never really appreciated the power of spider mines or the value of map control. I've heard it referred to by other players and other streamers, and you know, lots of people talk about map control as a third resource, and it really, really is. And I didn't understand that as a kid. So it looks like our Protoss player is doing something. He was probably hoping to get a cannon up. Does he have a forge? No, he doesn't even have a forge. Maybe that was a bluff, just to delay the timing on the machine shop, maybe? Is it that important to get it delayed? I'm not sure. So still looks pretty standard from the Terran. Some Marines holding the front door now. The machine shop is almost up. SCV's returning home from scouting. We have... I apologize, I don't know the symbols and it's not showing me. We have a research coming up and a robotics facility going down. So oh, this is bad. I should know what that is. I apologize, and I'll look that up in the future. I'll check once units start spawning and see if it's an attack upgrade or a something more specific upgrade from the robotics facility. Is that an observer specific research, maybe? We'll see. We'll see. Over here we're seeing spider mines, so it is vultures like I predicted, and you get a siege tank first. I guess that makes sense. It looks like the vulture will spawn at the same time as the mine. And now you have a siege tank up for earlier defenses. That makes sense. He does not have siege mode yet, though, so you can't set it up for a long-range defense, but I guess that's still enough to thwart any Protoss advancement right now. This upgrade's almost done. The robotics facility is up. We have an observatory coming down and a gateway. So I must have been wrong about this research. That's driving me crazy. I apologize again. And the 3 spider mines are down early, so he's using them defensively from his first vulture and going out scouting. Okay, I like it. So I imagine an expansion is going to be coming down very shortly. Yeah, right. We already saw the command center going. Siege mode is almost up. The engineering bay is lifted up. Not quite sure why, but it's there. And the vulture is looking around for expansions. So good scouting by the Terran player. Our Protoss is still just set up here. It looks like he's starting to think about expanding, but doesn't have the resources quite yet. Another pylon coming down. It's still just pumping out Dragoons. That must have been Dragoon range. Now the observer's coming. I think that might have been Dragoon range. Alright. So the command center's coming down. We have a missile turret. I imagine that's for the Dark Templar threat. That's going to thwart this observer as well. Hopefully he can snag a kill. That would be a big win for the... Oh, good micro from the Protoss. He's watching for it and gets away. Yep. This is blocked off as well. Still, I think this vulture's patrolling back and forth. This guy's hiding out here and set up a bunch of Widow Mines as well. So this is a very defensive Terran player. I guess it makes sense. There's not much point in dropping some spider mines over here. It's working for him. If the Protoss tries to advance, it's going to cause a lot of problems, so I get it. And here's the expansion. Yeah, finally, it's coming down. But the main base is running well. We have another observer out. Is the first one still alive? Let's see. I want to do his vision. No, so the... Oh, it is. He's got an observer back here, keeping an eye on that, and a second observer coming out. And he sees a scout, or a vulture scout. So the vulture goes down. I think the Terran player is definitely ahead economically, but I think this is a dangerous force for the Terran to deal with, especially if he has the range attack on the Dragoons, because the observer will give vision of the spider mine. So I feel like this might be, if controlled well by the Protoss, because I know there are a lot of jokes and memes about Dragoon movement patterns, so this is potentially a difficult push, but if it goes well, or if it's played well, I imagine this is going to be tough for the Terran to handle. We see that siege tank will be in siege mode soon. There's another one, so he has a reasonable army. The academy's up, a bunch more supply depots. Ooh, and the Protoss is backing off. Maybe those siege tanks are too tough. Maybe that's the way to go. And another Nexus. So the Protoss is taking 2 expansions at once. He's trying to jump ahead from one base behind to one ahead. That's going to be a lot of cost expend. I don't know if that's going to be a good play or not. He looks like he has an ample amount of probes to saturate at least 2 bases, and then he'll start on this one as soon as it's up. So it'll probably work out for him, but it is a lot of resources invested right now. I think he feels pretty safe, though, because he knows the Terran player has gone siege tanks, and it's really hard for a Terran to march across an open map against this many Dragoons with only 4 siege tanks. I'm sure of that. I know that much from Starcraft 2. Oh, sorry about that. Comsat station, let's see. Upgrades. Supply depots. Some zealots are coming out. That's a lot of gateways from the Protoss player. Holding his army at the 3rd base. It seems like a defensive game. I would like to see some action. Let's see some fighting, guys. Okay, more probes being pulled to go to the 3rd. So the Protoss player has established 3 bases now. He is going to be ahead economically. And Terran players don't have mules like they do in StarCraft 2, so that is not as easy for them to to recover from the economic disadvantage. Not to, I don't know what that comment really means. Please don't read into it any more than just I'm some guy trying to learn the game. The observer is giving vision of these vulture mines, so he knows he's going to have to be careful coming in. And this is a pretty sizable force now from the Terran player. That quicker expansion has come online before the Protoss was ready to accumulate an army, and I feel like this is definitely a more powerful force from the Terran player. But the Protoss is able to catch him on the transition. If he can... Alright, this is exciting. This is exciting. Siege tanks siege up. Dragoons are being microed to pick off the tanks. Zealots have gone down. Vultures are... Oh wow, the Dragoons come out on top. Oh well, of course they do. Never mind, I expected them to come out on top. A lot of Spider-Mans here to cut off reinforcements from the Protoss player. But I think the Terran player would have won that had he been more together and ready for that Protoss attack. Instead, he was strung out along the map like this and wasn't in position, so the Dragoons engaged really well, and the Protoss player did a good job of absorbing the tank fire with Zealots while focus firing down individual siege tanks. That's how it looked to me. The Terran player was probably at the time busy putting down these spider mines, which are necessary but are going to be great, but right now they're not working for him. Here's a kill or two. Yep. Yeah, so a lot of reinforcements go down. That's a big win, and he sees that Dark Templar are here, so he's going to probably have to invest in a science vessel at some point. Looks like it. There's a starport. Armory, okay. Okay, so the engineering bay is lifted up. It must be because you don't go bio against Protoss. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. More Zealots coming through. Now the Protoss has his 3 bases coming online. I think this could be a trouble spot for a Terran player. He has 2 Stargates coming down. Templar Archives is here. More Dragoons, more Zealots. Some scouting from this Vulture still. We have the Observer looking for a sneak 3rd expansion, and there is none from the Terran player. Lots of spider mines taking up the middle of the map, though. Yeah, see, this is going to be frustrating for the Protoss to deal with. Even with observers, if the Terran player has enough of an army to poke and prod a little bit, this is going to be really frustrating to deal with, I'm sure. How are his upgrades? We have 1 attack upgrade on the Terran player, along with nothing on the Protoss. So Terran is ahead in upgrades, and upgrades are a huge deal in StarCraft. I do know that. But I feel like the income of the Protoss is just going to start overwhelming the Terran. These 3 bases have been online for a long time now, and it's going to start really paying off for his army size, I'm sure. So, what are we at? 131 of 131 to 124. So this is a good spot for the Terran, because there's probably many more probes than there are SCVs as well. So right now, the Terran actually has a bigger army than the Protoss, I think. But, you know, once we hit 2 more minutes from now, the Protoss is just going to pull ahead. I'm sure upgrades are going to start catching up. No, we don't see them coming down. His resources are going somewhere. He's doing a good job of keeping them at least relatively low. So is our Terran player. And he got those supply depots up fast. He was not messing that up. Vulture down here to scout it out. Okay, and the expansion from the Terran player. He's going for this one. Super close to the Protoss. Very sneaky. He might not scout it out. He's doing a good job of checking everything else. So I think this is a good play on the Terran player's part. I like it. Zariche. I hope this is a win. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I hope the expansion works out so that we're able to see more good gameplay. Still a lot of passive play from both players. Our Terran he's going to start the crawl up, I think. He's got his tanks here. He's putting spider mines down. Then I think he's supposed to unsiege a couple tanks, siege those ones here, put a couple more spider mines, then unsiege the next back row. This is aggressive. He should leave these guys sieged while these 4 advance and kind of like stagger it so that the same thing doesn't happen as his last push, where the Protoss was able to intercept the army. If he staggers the approach, it is slow and it is tedious, but it means that he's not going to be flankable. I know that's not a word. Flankable in the same way that he was in the previous attack, though. So the SCVs are transferring down. He's done a great job of setting up a wall here, so the Protoss ground army is not going to have a good time getting to the expansion. And now he's looking strong. The science vessel arrives to destroy both observers, and I think the Protoss player is probably feeling a little more vulnerable right now. He does have a 4th base running, so that's big. In 100, and we're almost at max food for both players. This is going to be a big fight. The Terran can win it here. I don't think the Protoss can win it here, but again, I think if they both trade off, the Protoss is still going to be ahead, and he'll be able to at least build his army quicker. I think. I also think it's really cool that in StarCraft you have to build gateways and things like that at all your bases because you don't have warp gates. So you have to have production everywhere. So I'm going to talk about this fight for now. So this is a great advance by the Terran player. Look at him just sieging the Protoss out. Not many Goliaths, probably just enough to deal with observers and to kind of say, you know, don't, like, I have the answer to air if you try and go it against me. I'd imagine that's what they're for. 2-2 upgrades from the Terran player now. Wow. I think Terran might be taking this game down. He still has his siege tanks in position. There's not much the Protoss can do about it, and he loses his expansion, his natural expansion. Wow. Is the Terran going to try and take the main, or is that too dangerous? Okay, he's doing a good stagger now, leaving some tanks sieged. Alright, big fight. The Protoss engaged. That's massive. Well done. I don't know the name of the spell. I'm sorry. Lockdown. Stasis trap. Arbiters are so cool. I love seeing the Arbiter play. I think that was a good engagement for the Protoss player. Although the Terran did gain ground, he still has all these spider mines to fall back on. And tanks are replenishing quickly. He's got a bunch of Goliaths back home. Wow, that's a lot of factories. You know, this whole game I've been thinking the Protoss was looking pretty strong, and now I'm not thinking that at all. I guess he only really had Dragoons and Zealots too. There wasn't a whole lot of other tech there. But I don't know what the meta is against Terran. Do you usually go primarily Zealot Dragoon, or do you need some later tech units in there as well? The Arbiters are great, but that's a pickoff for all these Goliaths. Easy. And another expansion's going to go down. I love that the Terran player didn't try and take the main. I love that he just sieged up the expansion, knew that going up this ramp and picking a fight there might be trouble, and just decided to fight over here instead. I think that's a great play and the sign of you know, this guy, he's a good player. I don't recognize what separates a diamond player from a master player right now. Hopefully I will in time, but this clearly is a guy who understands at least how RTS games work. Oh, this has been scouted, it looks like. I see some Zealots coming down, but there are way too many vultures for these Zealots to hope to do anything. Terran player is starting to mine from this base, so I guess his main is gone. He's going to start building a command center there soon, or he'll uplift this one. Protoss is trying to expand in the northwest, but the Terran player has vultures at every expansion, except for this one, but that doesn't matter, so this is going to be hard for him to expand to, although the Arbiter will have, well, sorry, not the Arbiter, the Dragoons will have the answer to this one vulture for sure. Siege tanks going south, so many spider mines. Yeah, the fact that I didn't understand the importance of spider mines as a kid tells you how little I really understood StarCraft, because these are amazing. These are amazing. That's just so much map control. Let's see. So our armies now, Protoss is at 164, but I don't see where his units are. Oh, up here now? It's not even that much. Versus the Terran player at 199. He's strapped for cash, but doing a great job of spending it. Protoss player is still down. He's behind in upgrades. I think I think now I'm going to have to say the Terran's ahead. This is looking really, really strong. It's just so much mech. There's so much mech. Alright, this is a big engagement. The Dragoon's coming down. Let's see if the range can... No. He's forced to take the fight pretty quickly. That's solid. He does take a lot of the Terran units out of the army. That's big. But still, this squad's going to be able to deal with the Dragoons here. And yeah. Yeah, the Terran just has too many units. Zealots are blocked off trying to run down the ramp, and I don't think there's much you can do about it. The upgrades are too much, the numbers are too high. The Terran player played a really methodical game. Didn't expand too early. He knew what he was doing. This was a good first commentary, I think. I'm glad I watched this game. I definitely did not think it was going in the direction it did a couple times. Maybe some more experienced players, or those of you watching who are more experienced, probably this looked more one-sided at one point than I might have thought it was. But that's kind of the point of this playlist, right? And again, I'm talking right now as if the game's over, and I don't know that. I don't know that, but I just don't see how the Protoss can come back from this. This looks really tough. Yep, and the game has been called. Congratulations to Zariche. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I am going to keep posting or watching games, posting commentaries, because I really want to get involved with the Starcraft and Starcraft Remastered scene, because it's exciting and it's fun, and I love Blizzard RTS games. So thank you for watching. Any questions, comments, criticisms are of course welcome. If you're at all interested in Warcraft 3, check out my other playlists. I'm going to be posting videos there regularly as well, because I also enjoy Warcraft 3 and I am much more knowledgeable in Warcraft 3. But either way, again, thank you for watching, and if you liked the video or if you'd like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. I completely understand if not, though, and have a great rest of your day.